Welcome to a milk market tidbit on the January 2023 federal milk marketing orders that were just released this last couple days. This is Dr. Lawrence Jones with Farm Institute, and I'm recording this on February 15th, 2023. So where we'll start with this is what the statistical uniform prices were just released, and we've got Florida at 2607, Minnesota, Wisconsin, 1968. Overall, everybody's in that low 21s to high 20 kind of numbers. Again, the Southeast is always going to be high with the high class one. One of the things that I like to look at is how they change from last month. And you can see that the West Coast is down a lot more than the East Coast. And if we look at how the actual classes changed, class one came down 17 cents, so that was very little. So that made the Southeast not too bad. Class three came down $1.07, which because Minnesota, Wisconsin is pretty heavy, class three, that's pretty much they did. And class four came down $2.11, which is all this West Coast milk order. Overall, though, we can calculate that the prices came down about $1.10. So that's across all orders weighted by the number of cows in each of the orders. One of the things that was very clear in this analysis is that there was a end of depooling class four. Again, you're going to depool class four anytime that it's 75 cents above class three. And if we go back to this previous slide, there's only about 60 cents difference between three and four. So that's why these orders did not depool this last month. And if we look at, like, California increased their class four utilization by 13%, Texas by 9.7, Washington, Oregon by 7. And then in the East Coast, you see that there was not much depooling at all. And in fact, Minnesota, Wisconsin didn't change at all. So there's a significant difference between the orders as to what happened. So when we start looking at this change in milk production, when I started downloading this data, it's like, holy mackerel, we've got 110 here, 110% here, 115% here, 118% here. It's like we are just floating in milk. But then what I did is I actually said, okay, we significantly depooled, so more milk came into the federal orders this month compared to last, just because of the end of depooling. If you just do the raw math across these orders, it says we're up 5%. And in fact, fat was actually up about 6%. And so you look at this and say, holy mackerel, we're in trouble as an industry. But then you start looking at it a little bit and say, well, class one was only up about 1%. Class three was actually down a little, and it was all class four that was up, 67%. So let's go ahead and just take class four out of the equation. And we did that. It turns out that milk is only up about 1%, and that's about what I would have expected. And so these numbers are completely skewed with depooling. And in fact, what I came up with when I adjusted for the milk production and the percent fat that we had last month versus this week, it would suggest that fat production is actually flat also. So again, my takeaway from all this is milk production, according to the federal milk marketing orders, is up, just about 1%, and that component should be relatively flat. We're going to have the second National Dairy Sales Report here in just a few minutes at 3 o'clock today, and then next week's going to be a busy week because we're going to have a global dairy trade. We'll have the milk production report. Of course, we have a holiday on Monday, so that's going to push things back a little bit. We'll have the National Dairy Sales Reports on Thursday and the cold storage report on Friday. So a really busy week next week.